Not all as seen on TV products are a waste of your time and money, but how would you know unless you try it first, or in this case, we try it for you. Today we're going to sample a variety of as seen on TV pest control products and try to find out if these crazy contraptions belong in the garage or in the dumpster. The Bug-Zooka is an as-seen-on-TV product that claims to be the weapon of choice for the kinder, gentler way to win the war on bugs, as well as describing itself as simple, clean, and fun. I will give it this, it certainly is simple. After cracking the box open and emptying out the contents, we found that the Bug-Zooka's design is basically a tube with plastic bellows attached to the back. It also comes with an expandable extension tube and tapered front attachment complete with metal filter, presumably to keep bugs from crawling back up the tube. The general idea of this contraption is to compress the bellows, click them into place, and then release them with the push of a button, sucking air right into the tube. When you find your unwitting prey creeping about, all you gotta do is place the tip of the Bug-Zooka near it and then click the button to release the air accordion. This will effectively pull the bug into a virtual Airbnb where it'll be safely contained until you humanely release it directly into a raging fire. I mean, back into nature, of course. Now, on the box, they show this being used with fake bugs, but trust us, real bugs are not good actors, so we totally understand that move. We'll start there as well. We headed over to our fake bug drawer. Nah man, that's under the Nicolas Cage. There you go. As I said, we raided our fake bug drawer and gave our initial sacrificial offering to the Bug-Zooka. We crept in close and fired off the unit. Just like that, it snatched the pseudo-bug right up. But we did find that you have to be extremely close for this thing to work. It also seemed to perform quite well in rapid succession. One after another, our fake critters found themselves within our clutches and no escape was possible. But how does it perform out in the field? It quickly became clear that we had to focus on bugs that weren't moving fast, such as this ladybug who was just looking for a free ride to a safe plant. Nestling the Zooka behind her and firing it off worked pretty well. I was able to remove the front piece and with a couple of taps deliver her safely to a fancy little shrub in the yard. Enjoy your new home, little one. It's also great for moving some bugs that are encroaching on your backyard party areas. Even this green alien-looking insect was happy to ride the crazy taxi to safer grounds. You aim, get close, and release the trigger. What you do with them after that is at your discretion, but an empty corner of my yard seemed fine to me. So as you can see, we had great luck with insects that are pretty slow and hardly move. But if you think you're gonna catch anything with speed, you may have been grossly misled. We give the Bug-Zooka 2 out of 5 stars on our arbitrary rating system. It's a phenomenal concept, but fails miserably for anything other than bugs you could have just as easily moved with a broom, paper towel, or dustpan. Not to mention, we aren't exactly sure why it's called the Bug-Zooka when it doesn't fire air out but sucks in. The Vacu-Bug or Bug Sucker would have been a more appropriate product name. In our opinion, skip this one and opt for a dustbuster if you're in a pinch, or perhaps attempt to make your own with an accordion-style plunger and some PVC pipes. Yeah, that's right, we planted the seed, so here's how to do it. Pick up a $2 plastic accordion plunger and rummage about for a tube. Even a wrapping paper tube would work. You'll need to wrap the tube in something preferably rubber, such as a glove or maybe something like this door sealer that I'm using. Go around and around until it fits securely within the plunger, forming a makeshift gasket. Once you've got it inserted into the plunger, seal it all up with some strong tape. That's pretty much it. All you have to do is push and pull the plunger hard to create a suction force at the end of the tube. This also has the added benefit of expelling air as well. This is optional, but if you have an extra vacuum attachment laying around, you can put that on the end for added ease. In our case, this focused the air more precisely and allowed us to creep in closer with the device. It does work better than the Bug-Zooka. In fact, if you want to move a bug, you don't have to get close to it, just suck it in, move to the location you want, and expel the bug back out. All in all, not too shabby for a couple bucks and some duct tape. Now let's take a look at the My Critter Catcher, which is a pest control device that wagers its success on the same catch and release premise as the Bug-Zooka. This thing touts itself as being the fast, easy, and eco-friendly way to deal with household pests. At first glance, the insect on the label looks fairly realistic. Never mind, the packaging should open pretty easily. Oops. So much for returning this one when we're done with it. At least it comes with its own practice spider. Oh, and a tag with simple instructions that illustrate to aim, squeeze the trigger to catch, and then release. If you don't release, they send a guy to your house and he releases you. The My Critter Catcher is very reminiscent of those old toy robot claws from your childhood. In fact, we were able to use it in a similar fashion by grabbing this delicious plum from a tree. So we know right off the bat that this thing's rugged. It's got a pretty sturdy handle with a trigger that will gently close the bristles right around any pesky household critters. This of course allows you to safely secure, contain, and protect the critter until they inevitably breach their confinement, or of course until you release them into their natural habitat. We tested it on a little spider den attached to an outdoor motion sensor light. In practice, this thing actually works pretty well, and due to the length of the handle, you can catch them no matter where they are. And even if the critters try crawling back towards you when you release them, you'll have time to shake them off. Although the bristles won't really hurt the critters, it's not always as smooth to release them as the infomercial demonstrates. If there's any webs or debris attached, then it takes several attempts and a few shakes to set them free. But this isn't really the fault of the critter catcher, and more so the critter itself. The My Critter Catcher is yet another product that's earned an average of 4 out of 5 stars on Amazon at least, and we found this gadget pretty useful for pesky spiders lurking in corners or crawling around your house. It may be better to get a vacuum or broom or just move quickly out the front door instead, but hey, that's up to you. So if a critter found its way into your home, then consider helping them find their way back outside with this gadget. Now here's one you might be more familiar with. The Zaplight 60-watt LED carousel of insect death, a much smaller and more versatile version of the traditional bug zapper. It comes in a pretty standard light bulb box, which is fully loaded with the device, some instructions, and even a little brush to help you clean off the bulb once it's had a busy night of playing judge, jury, and executioner to unwitting insects. I am the law. The absolute beauty of the Zaplight is that you can bring it to wherever your problem area tends to be, as long as you've got a light socket, or in my case, we just put a light socket in. It functions both as an illuminating bulb and bug zapper, both at the same time, which is phenomenal if you prefer to watch the carnage firsthand. Clicking the switch once will turn on the dome light as well as the zapper, while subsequent clicks will turn each light on individually. We installed this in the backyard, and after the night finally arrived, set up a camera for a 3-hour run. Now bear in mind that we had to remove the protective plastic bars from the side in order for you to see directly into the zapper itself. For safety reasons, don't do that yourself. Just use it as it comes. After just one simple evening of use, the Zaplight collected a good number of bugs, and this is where the brush comes in handy, as it does a fantastic job of whisking away the failed Zerg rush. You can get in between the plastic bars and make it look almost as good as new. We love this thing and now have them all over the place in multiple spots throughout the yard and even inside the house for that wayward bug that gets in. Regardless of the fact that this only got 3 out of 5 stars on Amazon, you've seen the footage yourself and know this thing works wonders. The only complaint I have is that its surface area is so small, which will inevitably lead to daily cleanings. So if you put one of these up around the yard, you better include that aspect into your daily routine. But it's still a shockingly awesome product. The Executioner is the premier bug zapping racket, and as the package boasts, actually has some pretty powerful shock potential, especially for insects. To get started, go ahead and slide the cover off the head of the racket. Maybe a little tricky to remove, then travel down to the base of the handle and pop off that battery cover. After properly installing the batteries, make sure you're not touching the button on the handle. This thing will give you quite a shock. Whether you're training for Wimbledon or swatting away pesky bugs on the court, justice reigns from above as the Executioner serves these insects up 40 love. Our first test with this aerodynamic bad boy demonstrates its comfy design and audible results. If the mighty popping sound isn't enough to ward off pesky flying insects, the Devil's Racket will bring serious zapping power to your rescue. All you've got to do is locate your problem critters, hold down the button, and wave your racket back and forth. You'll know you got them because not only will there be a loud crack, but you'll also notice your foe falling back to earth, earning its right to be called the Executioner. After using the Executioner for a while, we're definitely sold on its utility, but you don't have to take our word for it. Boasting a 4-star overall rating doesn't even do this thing justice. Just ask Amazon buyer Bo, who remarked that it's a better way to rid yourself of irritating and disease-ridden pests, and that after a swipe or two, you'll never go back to the old way. We do wish he mentioned what the old way was. Perhaps he meant the Bug-Zooka, but hey, I digress. Among the 20% that gave this gadget 1 or 2 stars, the common complaint was that it burned out after just a few short months. However, most of the negative reviews are 4 to 5 years old. Anyway, all the links are in the description if you want to give this thing a snap, crackle, or pop. This is the Solar Action Owl. If you're wondering where the A in solar went, so are we, but this bad boy is supposed to effectively scare away most birds and pests from your yard. Now we'll go ahead and proceed to peel away the plastic covering. Okay, not much to that. The main feature that makes this stand apart from other similar products is that it boasts a robust solar-powered motor which keeps its head spinning and spinning and spinning around. This gives it the illusion of life to unsuspecting animals in your yard. You just remove the covering from the solar panel on top, and this bird is ready to leave the nest and enter the battlefield. The idea is to pound a pole into the ground near a problem area and put the owl on top of it. If there's any animals around that fear owls, you most likely won't be seeing them for long. If you have a simple flat surface like the top of this fence, that'll work just as well. The solar panel will immediately kick the motor into action. You'll notice the head starts moving right away. Now, in the commercial for this product, they tend to show the head moving back and forth. This is a bit fictitious as the motor only spins in one single direction. So they're probably just showing this thing get moved by the wind and hiding the fact that it has a true exorcist nature. Now, here's the difficult thing about reviewing a product like this. If it works, you really have nothing to show the viewers at home because all the pesky critters have already run off. So let's take an opposite approach. According to the product description, since crows and owls are mortal enemies, this little guy will supposedly attract them instead of scare them away. I tried the owl in several different positions, attempting to make it most visible from the surrounding trees. After about 45 minutes, crows finally started to gather and look upon the yard with devious eyes. All in all, a must-buy if you've got pesky critters running around your yard and you have no problem with crows. Well, that's all we have for you today. If you want to see more As Seen on TV products get reviewed, go ahead and click the video on your screen right now to view our entire playlist. Also, not a bad idea to hit that subscribe button so you get notified the next time we release a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.